of Santa Barbara! Can you hear me?
Come on out.
Let Santa Barbara hear you now! If you need a Spanish translator, make your way to the stage. We have one right here. And you can get a headphone. Wow. Welcome, everybody.
Still people streaming in across the street.
I still see people streaming in from across the street, but I know they can hear me back there. We have speakers this time. We begin today by acknowledging that we gather on the traditional and unceded lands of the Chumash people, who have been the caretakers of this land for thousands of years. The Chumash people are the original stewards of this land, and their elders, both past and present, helped shape this place where we stand today. We are greatly appreciative of the support and care given to us by the Santa Barbara Police Department in an effort to make this event as safe as possible. Give them a big round of applause. With regard to the possibility of counter-protesters, we ask that you ignore them. Don't engage. They likely just want to get under your skin. Indivisible stresses the importance of de-escalation. Just walk away from it, and if there is a more serious issue, find one of our 30 monitors who have been trained to handle it. They are in green, lime green vests, and they're easily noticeable. If there is a serious problem and it is escalating, please call 911. I don't believe that will happen. We're in Santa Barbara. Also, we have a first aid table close to the corner of Santa Barbara and Mitchell-Torina down there if you need anything, and we also have bathrooms on that same corner. Our co-sponsors today are many. The Fund for Santa Barbara, Democratic Women of Santa Barbara County, Immigrant Legal Defense Center, 805 Undocufund, La Casa, Commit to Democracy, The Pod, Protectors of Democracy, Planned Parenthood, Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara Women's Political Committee, SB 10, Cause, Social Security Works, and the Democratic Party of Santa Barbara County. Please give a warm welcome to our elected officials here today, who include County Supervisor Laura Capps, Jordy Scully Allison on behalf of State Senator Monique Limon, Councilmember Kristen Sneddon, Councilmember Wendy Santa Maria, Councilman Eric Friedman, Mayor Pro Tem for Goleta, Stuart Kasdan, Councilmember Luz Reyes Martin for Goleta District 1, Councilmember for the Goleta District, Jennifer Smith, and our beloved former State Senator, Hannah-Beth Jackson. We are grateful to all of them for their attendance here today. We thank you all for showing up in force today for our second No Kings rally. My name is Myra Paige, and I represent Indivisible Santa Barbara. Today, we are all indivisible. There are now close to 3,000 events taking place in every state across this country and around the world Mexico, France, England, Finland, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Denmark, Ireland, and the Czech Republic. There will likely be well over 6 million people on the streets of our country today with the same message. We don't do kings in America. We banished them forever 250 years ago. Now I'm going to tell you what Trump and his administration has done in the last 9 months. Yeah. The intensified crackdown on immigration, including deployment of the National Guard and the Marines to cities like Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. What a surprise, all Democratic cities. Large-scale raids and policies undermining and ignoring due process and targeting vulnerable populations with a horrific level of cruelty and evil. Mass layoffs of more than 100,000 federal workers, and now again during a Republican shutdown. He is using executive power with immunity granted by 6 Supreme Court members. He violates laws, court orders, bypasses Congress with not one Republican to stand up to him or support the country they serve. His administration has launched lethal military strikes against boats in the Caribbean, suspected of drug smuggling, and ordered the CIA into Venezuela to start a war. Executive orders to end all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The rolling back of protections under the Affordable Care Act, $4 billion in cuts to medical research at the National Institutes of Health and to universities, including here in Nobel Prize-winning UC Santa Barbara, which will affect cancer, diabetes, and heart disease studies. Department of Health and Human Services cuts over $12 billion in grants, including funding intended for strengthening public health infrastructure. There is political retribution and intimidation, including prosecutions targeting critics, attorneys general, think Letitia James, think James Comey. There will be more. Likely our own Senator Adam Schiff could be next. Anyone who investigated him for his crimes. The administration has drawn fire for tightening press restrictions and for shifts in policy seen as weakening civil rights protections, environmental oversight, and workers' rights. The hollowing out of the FBI, the Department of Justice, the EPA, Department of Education, and the Department of Health. All of this has contributed to widespread concern among legal experts, civil rights groups, and large swaths of the public about the erosion of democratic norms, accountability, and separation of powers. I'm sure I've missed a lot. Feel free to call it out. Remember, he demands loyalty, but is loyal to no one. America is not drifting towards authoritarianism. We are there. After 250 years, Donald Trump and his minions took less than 9 months to nearly destroy our democracy, with a Republican Party that has gone down on bended knees to capitulate to him. We've learned politics cannot be left to the politicians. Sorry, Salud. So it is now up to us, everyone here and across the country, to stop it. We can start by putting the election in 2026 on even footing. Vote yes on Proposition 50. Continue to call and write our senators and members of Congress to hold firm on the shutdown and not give in to threats and lies. If 6 members of our Supreme Court finish off the Voting Rights Act, which they likely will, start writing them now and call them out for their complicity in overturning precedent and long-established principles of law. Support our immigrant communities with donations and food, and above all, respect. Immigrants built America and made us who we are today, a beautifully diverse nation. It's who we are and who we should be. And contrary to Republican belief, we are not hate-filled terrorists. We are love-filled patriots. We are compassion. We are decency. We are freedom-loving. We are peace-loving. We are tolerance and understanding. And so it is up to us, everyone here and across the country, to fight back. We will never stop showing up, and we will never give up. 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 Never. Never give up. Thank you all. We are privileged to have speakers here today to address a myriad of issues and numerous concerns. We know Salud Carbajal as a fighter, as he did with ICE at Glass House Farms and Carp, and in the face of Pete Hegseth at congressional hearings. And he is undoubtedly one of Indivisible's oldest and dearest friends. Please welcome our representative in Congress, Salud Carbajal.
This is what democracy looks like. No kings, no authoritarians, no dictators, and no goddamn fascists. You know, I used to be intimidated when I gave speeches in my earlier career because Hannah Beth Jackson always went before me and she's so damn good. But now Myra just captured it all. Myra, you're amazing. Let's give Myra and Ian a round of applause for fighting the good fight and leading us on this journey to continue to struggle against the Trump administration, who day in and day out does everything to dismantle our democracy, our civil rights, and human decency, which is the values of the United States. In addition to Myra and Ian, I want to recognize the Santa Barbara County Immigrant Legal Defense Center, the 805 Undocufund, Planned Parenthood, and again, Santa Barbara Indivisible. Today, I'm proud to stand with you to fight for a simple truth. We don't have kings in this country. That's all a bunch of BS. This nation was founded on the idea that power belongs to the people, not the privileged few, not the billionaires, and not one person in the White House. Like the patriots who threw crates of tea into the Boston Tea Harbor nearly 250 years ago, today we're gathered here to reaffirm our belief in government of the people, by the people, for the people. The Trump administration and Republican leaders are waging a full assault on our core beliefs. Look no further than the ongoing Republican government shutdown. As of today, the federal government has been shut down for 18 days. And let's be clear about one thing. Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. This shutdown is on them. Trump and Republicans are trying to use this shutdown to try to force through a budget that includes massive cuts, additional massive cuts in health care. Yet, they have $20 billion to bail out Argentina, right-wing dictator-like leader. And you might be asking, what do those cuts mean for me? Well, if Republicans refuse to work with Democrats to reopen the government and extend the Affordable Care tax credits, more than 20 million Americans could see their health insurance costs double, including 35,000 in our community. Those are just increases. That is on top of the 40,000 people who are at risk of outright losing their health care. Total, it's about 75,000 people that are in peril of having their health care reduced or expunged completely. And all this is being done to pay for Republican massive tax breaks for the rich donors and their huge corporations. Taking people's health care away is simply cruel, and we will not stand for it. In a few weeks, the people of California will have the opportunity to level the playing field against Trump's authoritarianism and fascist tendencies. Passing Prop 50 will help neutralize Trump's attempt to rig the midterm elections and keep his crony colleagues in power. We need to win back the majority in Congress and stop the Trump agenda. Stop the ICE raids in our communities. Stop the reckless tariffs that are driving up prices for our communities. Stop the rollback of health care. And stop the freaking corruption. As I look around, as I look at all of you gathered here today, I say again, this is real patriotism. And this is what democracy looks like. Americans uniting to defend our freedom and Constitution from a man who wants to be king. So, to Trump and the Republicans who shut down our government, we reject your cruelty. We are not backing down from this fight. Never give up. Never give up. The fight continues. Never give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Salud. We welcome our State Assemblyman Gregg Hart, hard at work in Sacramento to get Prop 50 passed, among countless other things. He is an extraordinary caretaker of the Central Coast and is always there for us at Indivisible, and we are grateful to have him here today. Assemblyman Gregg Hart.
I can't tell you what a beautiful sight this is, looking at all the pre-made signs that Pam Bondi was talking about. What a joke. Look at this. It's incredible. Give yourself a round of applause. This is the most creative thing I've ever seen. Yeah. I want to start off by recognizing my dear friend, my legislative partner, my ally and mentor in Sacramento, State Senator Monique Limon. She is not able to be here. Yes. Monique was recently elected by her colleagues in the state Senate to serve as president of the Senate. It's an incredible honor for her and for our entire community. She is the first Latina to hold this position in California history. She is also the first mom to hold this position in California history. That's probably more important. Her leadership, compassion, and courage embody the very best of California. She proves that when we open the door of power to new voices and new generations, we all rise together. I also want to thank Congressman Carbajal. He is a fighter. We know him well from his local government experience. He is a true public servant and goes to Washington to fight for us without flinching from power or prestige. He knows what he's doing, and we're really grateful for the work that he does on our behalf in Washington. Thank you, Salud. So I'm sure like every one of you, every day, maybe every hour, you're asking yourself, what is going on in our country? Everywhere we look, people are anxious and angry, and for good reason. Washington is gridlocked, corporations are calling the shots, working people are getting squeezed harder and harder every day. It's really difficult to make ends meet. But here's the truth. Where the rest of the country seems paralyzed, California is moving forward. That's why I'm wearing this California Bear flag hat, because I'm proud of what California is accomplishing. Who is the fourth largest economy in the world? California. Who leads the nation in manufacturing, small business, and innovation? California. Who's home to the best universities in the world, leads the planet in technology and innovation and agriculture? California. And who sends more than $80 billion of our hard-earned tax dollars to states like Texas and Florida so they can insult our values but cash our checks? California. We build the future, we educate the next generation, we feed the nation, and we still keep this country afloat. So when people ask, who's holding America together? We all know the answer, it's California. So what is President Trump doing to help us prosper and to help us continue to lead the country? More than nothing, he's attacking us every day. In his first days in office, he visited Los Angeles to see the wildfire destruction, not to comfort the victims or to help, but to threaten to withhold FEMA relief if we didn't change our mail-in voting process. Who does that? No president in history has ever proposed to withhold disaster relief to punish a state for political purposes. And he's following through, sadly. Billions in federal disaster relief funds remain stalls. There have been months since there's been any communication with the state of California about the status of that funding. He's attacked UCLA, holding them ransom for $1 billion to try and control the educational process and the academic institutions there. And UCSB is on the same target list, too. He's sent troops to aid attacks on our immigrant neighbors. He's imposed tariffs that crush California agriculture and exports. And he stripped billions in federal grants from renewable energy projects and cancer research. It's not right, and it doesn't make any sense. And the question is begging itself, how did we get here? How did we get to this place in our country? Well, we got here because the system has been rigged for decades. While working families hustle to survive, billionaires and corporations have written the rules for themselves. Energy companies raise rates and rake in billions. Big Pharma charges $500 per unit for insulin that costs $10 to make. Oil companies pollute our coastlines, dodge taxes, and flaunt the law. Right here in Santa Barbara Channel, Sable Oil Company is trying to rip us off. They call it the market. We call it greed. That's why people have lost faith in our country, but it's here to end today in Santa Barbara. We're taking our future back. We're saying no more to corruption, no more to corporate control, no more to leaders who forget who they work for. Government should serve the people who built this country, not the corporations that exploit it. Real leadership means making polluters pay, cracking down on price gouging, investing in working families, childcare, housing, education, and creating clean energy jobs that lift every community. We don't have to accept inequality as our destiny. We can build a fairer California and show the nation how it's done. So what can we do about it? Well, the good news is we're already doing it. We're here today together speaking up against this. When Donald Trump and his MAGA extremists try to tear down democracy, California stands tall. When they attack our freedoms, our coasts, our values, California fights back. Our Attorney General has taken the federal government to court again and again, defending our air, our reproductive freedom, and democracy itself. When Washington turns its back on us, California steps forward. When they try to silence us, we speak louder. And now we have the chance to lead by passing Proposition 50. Proposition 50 is how Californians say no to Trump's rigged system and yes to fair representation and democracy. It ensures that the people, not the powerful, decide our future. So when you leave here today, tell your friends, your family, your co-workers, go find your ballot. Fill it out. There's only one bubble. Vote yes on Proposition 50, then mail it in today. Don't wait. It's in your kitchen. Grab it, do it, put it in the mailbox. I voted. I know probably most of you have, but everybody needs to vote. We have the opportunity to again show that California is lighting the path for the nation, just as we always have, because the world is watching, and the world is counting on us. So let's make it clear, Santa Barbara, we're not backing down, we're not giving up, we're standing up for working families, for democracy, for the California dream. Now let's make it echo from the coast to the Capitol. Stop Trump, yes on 50. 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 Yes on 50. Because in California, there are no kings. There are only people who are united, strong, and ready to take back our future. Thank you, Santa Barbara. Let's win this fight.
Thank you, Gregg Hart. Our next speakers are a duo we feel passionately about. Julissa Peña, Executive Director of the Immigrant Legal Defense Center, and Primitiva Hernandez, the Executive Director of 805 Undocufund, both highly respected nonprofits. Their work has been backbreaking and heartbreaking, to be sure, and we are so grateful to have them here today. Primi, Julissa, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julissa Peña, Executive Director of the Immigrant Legal Defense Center and proud member of the 805 Immigrant Coalition. And I'm honored to stand with you today. I'm here not just as an advocate, but as a witness to the pain and fear our immigrant families are experiencing, and to the incredible love and collective strength that our community continues to show in their defense. Across the Central Coast and across this nation, we are watching a democracy in crisis. ICE agents are raiding homes, workplaces, and even courthouses, spaces that should represent justice, not fear. Immigrant parents are being detained in front of their children, students are being surveilled, entire immigrant families are being disappeared overnight. But let's be honest here. This is state-sanctioned cruelty and racism masquerading as national security. At ILDC, our staff attorneys, case managers, therapists answer urgent calls every single day from families whose loved ones have been taken, from mothers desperate to know where their children are being held, from fathers who fear every knock at the door. We stand beside asylum seekers, unaccompanied immigrant children, and all immigrants who have called this place home for decades, united by hope, courage, and the mere dream of belonging. People who contribute not just through their work, but through their love, their culture, and their courage. They are our neighbors. They're our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, the very heart of who we are as a community. Yet they are hunted for the color of their skin, treated as if their lives have no worth. Detention centers rise in remote corners where people are silenced, stripped of dignity, and denied justice. But I've said this before, and it bears repeating. Defending immigrants' rights is not an act of charity. It's an act of solidarity. It's how we defend our democracy, uphold the rule of law, and protect the moral fabric of this nation. When we fight for immigrants, we fight for truth, justice, and democracy itself. Because a government that can strip rights from one group can and will strip them from all of us. So today, we say no more. No more fear, no more family separation, no more detention profiteering, no kings, no tyrants, no unchecked power. We are here because democracy is not something we inherit. It is something we build together, defend together, and renew together. So in the face of cruelty, we choose compassion. In the face of division, we choose solidarity. And in the face of injustice, we choose to stand together as one people demanding liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone.
Give it up for Julissa one more time and ILDC. Thank you, Indivisible Santa Barbara, for putting together such a powerful show of people power. Give it up for everyone here today. That's right, because we all know only the people will save the people. Say it with me. Only the people will save the people. Solo el pueblo salva al pueblo. Because politicians are not stepping up, and those that are need to be louder. We all know that no sheriff, no corporation, no government, and no king will save us. Only the people can save the people. Our liberation will never come from the systems that exploit us. It will come from us. The communities that refuse to be silent or erased. I stand before you as a DACA recipient, as a dreamer, but my story is among millions worldwide who are fighting for self-determination. I dream of a day when our brown, black, and indigenous families no longer live in fear. When our future is no longer defined by borders or broken systems. But dreaming isn't enough. It's time to act. We are not the enemy. The enemy sits in power with the billionaires, with the oligarchs, but only until we allow it. We are witnessing a coordinated assault on our communities, even here locally. The government is gutting down education at the federal level, healthcare, and reproductive rights. Here in Santa Barbara County, local officials are complying instead of resisting. Undocumented residents are being transferred, they say. A cruel disguise for abandonment. At 805 Undocufund, we resist every day. And so do the hundreds of volunteers that I know many of you are here today, patrolling, responding, and taking care of their communities when nobody else will. And without a single dollar from the state, without a single dollar from the federal government, our power comes from the thousands of individual donors, from our philanthropic partners who know that our allegiance is to the people, not to any false authority or regime. So today and every day we organize, we resist, and we fight back until we liberate all peoples from these unjust systems of oppression, and to our allies across the country building no kings. We invite you to look deeper. Like Julissa said, real solidarity isn't charity. It is shared struggle. Our fight is your fight, because systems that cage migrants are the same systems that will deny your health care, housing, dignity for all working people. So when justice calls, will you use your voice, your privilege, your power, and stand on the right side of history with us? Will you? Will you do it? That's right, because only the people will save the people. Say it with me. Only the people will save the people.
name's Jenna Tosh. I'm the CEO of the Planned Parenthood Central Coast Action Fund. And as you all know, it has been a devastating 8 months as we have watched this administration consolidate power and remake the federal government into something I don't recognize. In July, the president signed H.R. 1 into law, which made massive cuts to health care and defunded Planned Parenthood health centers from the federal Medicaid program. And unlike other provisions of the bill, the Planned Parenthood defund provision was written to go into effect immediately upon enactment. And that's a direct attack on millions of patients who rely on Planned Parenthood health centers for a wide range of health services, including birth control, cancer screenings, sexually transmitted infection testing and treatment, vaccinations, gender-affirming care, and abortion care. And while the defund provision was initially blocked by a court order, we lost that protection on September 11th, allowing it to go into effect. And y'all need to understand that this has a disproportionate impact on California. There are 109 Planned Parenthood health centers in the state that collectively serve almost 1 million patients in California every year, 80% of whom rely on a Medi-Cal program. And so what that means is that hundreds of Planned Parenthood health centers across the country are now at imminent risk of closure. And we know who is most impacted by these attacks. Women, immigrants, people who are undocumented, people who are Black and Latino, young people, people who live in rural communities, people with low incomes, people who are LGBTQ, in particular trans and non-binary people. And we all know that Trump and his supporters knew exactly who defunding would hurt. And that was the point. Because like everything this administration does, the cruelty is the point. But Planned Parenthood California Central Coast Action Fund and every person here today will never stop reminding them and this entire country what they have done to the people they were elected to represent. We all know this president's agenda is fear and control. And we know that this administration is working full-time to strip away our healthcare access, our bodily autonomy, and our ability to make our personal medical decisions. They are counting on us to be afraid, but we refuse to be bullied into silence or capitulation. Our former Planned Parenthood Action Fund president, Cecile Richards, who we lost this year, used to remind us, one day our children will ask us, when there was so much at stake for our country, what did we do? And the only defensible answer is we did everything we could. So you all know we will never back down, and I know you will never back down, because we are not going to give in to those who want to dictate what people do with their bodies, their lives, and their futures. And this is the moment to fight back, because in this election we can stop their power grab, we can ensure we have a fair election, and we can give ourselves a chance to fight for a Congress that will protect our rights. If they consolidate power by rigging the 2026 midterms, their attacks on reproductive health care and abortion will only escalate. Prop 50 is the answer to securing reproductive freedom here in California. President Trump and his allies think that they have already cheated enough to win. But we have news for them. We were built for this moment, and we don't back down from a fight. The 19 million Planned Parenthood supporters across this country and the 1 in 4 Californians who has received care at a Planned Parenthood health center will not stop fighting for reproductive freedom. Because no matter how many times they try to stop us, We are going to continue building the health system we all deserve, no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Our final speaker is Madeline Valehe, a graduate student researcher at UC Santa Barbara, working in the materials department and an organizer with the Academic Student Employee Union. She is here today to talk about the effects of Trump's attacks on higher education and what they have been doing to fight back to make sure life-saving research continues at UCSB. Madeline.
Hello, everyone. My name is Madeline, and I'm a graduate student in the materials department at UC Santa Barbara. I'm also one of our bargaining committee members for our Academic Student Employee Union, UAW 4811. And we represent 48,000 graduate student researchers, teaching assistants, academic researchers, postdocs, readers, tutors, learning assistants, all across all 10 University of California campuses. My research work is focused on deciphering the problem of fatigue within metals. Every year, over 50% of mechanical failure, like parts breaking, is attributed to fatigue. This leads to car crashes, pipes bursting, bridge collapses, even something small like your bike frame cracking. I do this research because, one, I really like breaking shit, but also I want to see a future where people can live safer lives, devoid of accidents, injury, and death from something that could have been avoided. In a country with over $1 trillion in deferred maintenance, decaying infrastructure can be genuinely life-threatening. As university researchers, we have the freedom to research these problems and make the world a better place, specifically because we're not confined by investors only interested in profit. But under the current administration, all of that is at risk, and members of UAW 4011, like me, are under attack. Cuts to national funding for research have caused layoffs. Workers are being told to leave their programs early, offers are being rescinded, and contracts are not being renewed. The UC is the global leader in critical research on treatments for cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and HIV/AIDS. Research that would be defunded by nearly $400 million specifically to the UC if Trump's proposed cuts go through. My own research has been affected as my project was in collaboration with the synchrotron at Cornell University, which was hit by a stop work order from the Trump administration. And stories just like mine can be heard across campus. Pusha, an academic researcher in the chemistry department, works on the development of metal-based therapeutics for the treatment of ischemic stroke and heart attacks. Her colleagues work on the development of novel chemotherapeutics that employ radiometals for killing cancer cells. She's funded by the National Science Foundation, and her lab is funded by the NSF, National Institute of Health, and Department of Energy. Grants that were promised to be approved to support this important research ended up being denied because of the Trump administration. Lisa, a graduate student who is in my own department of materials, worked on glioblastoma. Most patients diagnosed with this brain cancer have less than 12 months to live after they've been diagnosed. Glioblastoma has an extremely aggressive way of spreading in the brain, making it very difficult to fully remove the tumor with surgery. To find a solution to this, Lisa worked on better understanding the mechanisms behind this cancer behavior, and she found that highly stressed glioblastoma cells are more contained and would be easier to remove with surgery. Unfortunately, just when she had made these findings, federal funding cuts affecting both of her co-advisors forced an abrupt stop of the project, and there was no money left for her to continue, and there's no current plan for someone else to take over after she graduated just a month ago. Kanemi, a graduate student in the Earth Science Department, studies earthquake science, focusing on bettering imaging techniques using earthquakes as a tool to answer fundamental questions about plate tectonics. She planned to set sail for 4 weeks on a research cruise in the Pacific Ocean in April of this year. Less than a month before it was set to happen, it was indefinitely postponed. Furthermore, this project has been dramatically downsized from its initial approval as NSF braces itself for further budget cuts. The originally approved proposal included more data collection through an additional 3 cruises. Seismology saves lives, especially in California, because it takes robust knowledge of the ground we're building on to design earthquake-resistant infrastructure. And so the actions of the Trump administration are directly responsible for stopping this life-saving research that has made our country a global leader. I have personally seen some of the best researchers I know choose to leave the country and continue their work somewhere else. That means clinical trials will stop, new treatments will not be brought to market, and more sick people will die preventable deaths. I am proud to tell you that we have not been sitting idle, however. Through our union, my colleagues and I have been fighting back against these attacks. When Governor Newsom proposed a $400 million budget to the UC earlier this year, we protested at our rally as part of the National Kill the Cuts Day of Action that we helped to organize. We attended lobby days in Sacramento, and eventually the state cuts were moved down to 0%. We organized phone banks of hundreds of members to pressure Congress to stop cuts to research funding, including NIH, NSF, DOE, NASA, USDA, NEH, and more. With our union, we were plaintiffs on cases seeking to reverse cancellations of NIH and NSF grants and supported additional litigation for cases opposing cuts to indirect cuts. We have organized congressional town halls across the state on research funding, including with Salud Carbajal at UCSB, leading to a nationwide bipartisan sign-on letter in Congress in support of maintaining NIH funding that included over half of the Senate and a total of 22 Republicans as well. The fight is not over, but both appropriators in both houses of Congress have proposed rejecting most of the Trump administration's cuts to research funding. And so now it is more clear than ever that we cannot depend on the federal government to prioritize the research that has a clear, direct benefit for the people. To make up for billions of dollars the Trump administration is seeking to cut from scientific and medical research, threatening American innovation and health, our union has been working with Democratic lawmakers on Senate Bill 607. This will eventually be a bond measure proposition in November 2026 and would provide $23 billion to create and fund a California Foundation for Science and Health Research, which will fund developing cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and other diseases, as well as discoveries in climate science, wildfire prevention, pandemic preparedness, and other fields. California is a leader in science. In this past cycle, the University of California received 5 Nobel Prizes, 2 professors of which were at UCSB. We should prioritize leadership and ensure we continue to be the global epicenter of scientific research and discovery. With the help of everyone here, we can make sure that happens with the support of SB 607. My fellow union members have shown that when we stand together, we can make change, no matter what the Trump administration does. Now, all of you ready to fight alongside me? Because when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Before we begin our march to De La Guerra Plaza, for those who are marching, a few guidelines. Again, please be mindful of our monitors who will help guide our marchers safely. Again, they are wearing yellow vests. Take your time, yellow, I think it's actually green. Take your time walking to Anacapa and Sola to begin the march. That way. You will be led by 2 volunteers for Indivisible. Behind our beautiful new No Kings banner, which will be going first. Your march is about 7 blocks long downhill to De La Guerra Plaza. We will have Indivisible members waiting for you there with water, if needed. It is where our rally and march will end. Once again, Indivisible, Santa Barbara, thanks you for turning out en masse for probably the most significant peaceful protest in American history.